What's going on, everybody? Anthony Campo here with Battle Ready Business, and today I want to talk to you about bloat within your business.
The question is, what does it take to build a battle ready business? What does it take to dial in your marketing, sales, fulfillment, and leadership so that you can go to war in the marketplace and win? My name is Anthony Campo, your host and chief coach at Battle Ready Business. This is the Be Battle Ready podcast, Daily Battle Edition. And on a daily basis, we're going to take a deep dive look at what it takes to win in the marketplace. So sit back, relax, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right. So today I want to talk to you about bloat. Do you have bloat within your business? So I was having a conversation with a gentleman, a buddy of mine that has a pretty successful business, and he mentioned something that he feels like he has bloat within his business. And let's define that. Like the bloat would be like you just have too many people on your team, you know, and the way that he kind of described it, it was like, he's like, I have one person like doing one thing, right? And it just seems kind of ridiculous. And the problem, one of the problems you run into is that, you know, this kind of happens when your company grows so fast that it outruns the plans that you have. Like maybe you get surprised about the response that you've gotten, your business has. You've been too busy to kind of build and sit back and kind of build that infrastructure. And you just start filling gaps. Like think about yourself on a boat and there's like, well, you know, there's a leak in the boat and we need somebody to be the bilge pump, let's say. And you're just like, throw somebody in there and then there's another leak. And you throw somebody in there, and you're continuing to move forward and have progress, but you end up filling all these gaps because it's just such a shotgun approach to hiring. And what you end up happening is that you have like people in positions that they can probably get majority of the job done, but they're not really the best fit for it or the right fit for it. And then the rest of the team, let's say they're getting 80% of the job done, but the team has to fill in the rest. And what you get is that you have this mix up of different functions within your business, and the people that sit and responsible or accountable for those functions actually filling in the gaps. And you have like a salesperson doing a piece of something that's really marketing, and a marketing person having something to do has to do with accounting. And at the end of the day, the players in those seats aren't the right fit. So you just have this business that's doing well, but it's not actually hitting the capacity. And if you go back an episode or two, I talked about duct tape and twine. This is kind of how it shows up. Is in this, you know, it's kind of bandaged together. You have the right, and this talks about a people issue, right? And what you end up happening is that your business has too many crew members on the team, and it isn't as nimble as it was before. So you start hitting the ceiling, right? You start trying to push through the ceiling. You're like, we've got these plans, you know, or you're in this position like we're doing well, but you know, how do we continue to grow? And what happens is that you try to make a plan to grow and you don't do it. And you're like, what the hell's wrong with us? Why aren't we growing? And you know, you start maybe changing the way you do things as far as like your core offerings. And thinking about it, it's that. I saw this, you know, actually I experienced this in the gym business where, you know, at the time, CrossFit was growing. We were growing. We had grown 500% in the first few years, and we started to see that, you know, digital marketing space started to change. That our local area started to change. We thought that we needed to change our service offering, and we actually we changed the way our classes were structured and flowed. And I have to be honest, like that was a mistake because we ended up going back to it after a while because that wasn't the thing that was broken, right? There really wasn't anything broken. We just needed to reshift the deck and put the right people. We had great team members and they all had their great positions, and we just needed to reshift the deck to put them in the right position. So the other problem you get into is your overhead grows, right? You're like, well, man, I'm a super profitable, high margin business, and your profitability starts to drop, right? Because you're just trying to fill things in, and maybe this is the first go around of like leading a team, leading an organization, building that, and you might be in masterminds or coaches, but they're not talking about your infrastructure. And there might be just marketers or mindset people. They're not going to cover this. Leadership and organizational development is it's a very small thing. Like it's your plumbing and your architecture of your house, let's say. Right? I know we went from a ship to a house now, but it's the things within it that actually make the machine run. And that's the beauty of it. It's a machine. If you do it right, you can make it a machine. Right? So this is where you look at if your overhead has grown and your profitability has dropped, then you need to look, and you have too much bloat, just like the topic of this, is that you actually need to relook at your systems and processes and how effective is that, right? And that's where, like, when you don't have a person accountable and responsible for each core function of your business and you have crossover, it ends up not working. You end up creating friction within your business. And if you go back, you can completely be empathetic and understand this, because if you go back to when you were doing everything, or you were doing a lot of everything, then you saw how you were the bottleneck, right? And you couldn't really be as effective as when you got your team, somewhat of a team put on, and you started to step into your core competency, your zone of greatness. So this is the same thing. Like, I'll tell you, one of the things that we did is I talked about this, I've talked about this before, is that, we had an office manager. She was a great generalist, bookkeeping, just general, kind of keeping a track of everything. But I think she was, by being spread across different things, like she was helping me run 2 businesses. She was helping, some other situations out, with some related businesses. And technically she was helping run 3 businesses and kind of doing the same thing across 3 businesses and taking on other situations and tasks that she didn't need to do. And me being, as a young leader, immature, less mature leader, and not putting somebody that's in the right position, right? And using it as a generalist. And there was some scarcity around money and expenses and stuff. And this is one of the areas that, I've had to learn and grow in that sense. And then the other problem with too many hands on deck, like I referenced it a little bit earlier, is that no one's accountable. So like if you have like no one really in charge of a function within your business, and people are like your organization's flat, people are like crossing over of sharing tasks and stuff, this was something that I have to admit, like one of the first programs I was involved, the business programs was involved in, preached this. This was their core fundamental tenet of their business, which they called an associate. And it never made sense to me. It always created conflict. And what ended up happening is like, you would try to find this unicorn of a person that could sell, to provide customer service, that could do some marketing and help drive the revenue. All this person, this was preached. And early on, like you might need somebody like that, right? and but you cannot continue to replicate that. That might be somebody that's eventually going to own their own place. That's the issue, and that's what came up. Like, you burnt them out, and then you ended up, really like creating somebody that can own their own business, and you developed within, which is good if they're going to continue to part with you. But if they don't, then it's a bad situation. But what I'm getting at is, like, instead of having these generalists within your company that are, or these unicorns that can do, like, almost be you, because you got to realize, I did a podcast about this before, is that you're the owner and you're the unicorn, right? You're the one that decided to take on and learn to a competent level marketing, sales, customer service, and fulfill and leadership, so that you can have a business, right? And so that you can live a different life. You could build an empire. You could build that. What that dream of so many, so many people that have that dream of do. So, but the problem here is that you if you don't have somebody that's accountable for that function in your business, then you're not going to execute at the level you could. And if you don't execute at the level you could, then your overall results are limited, and you'll start hitting the ceiling. And if you're feeling those symptoms of, you guys have throttled up and you've tried to, take off and go to the next level, and you just can't, you might have too much bloat. Think about a rocket, when they go to space, they need all this boost to get off the ground, but then they start dropping off and it gets lighter and lighter. And then once they get up into that cruise mode, they're gone, right? So, to get off the ground, you might need more effort. You generally need more effort than when you do to kind of take it to the, supersonic speed or whatever. And you can only run supersonic for a little bit. So the other thing is, like, what is it costing you outside your business, right? You can see what it's costing you inside your business. See, if you have too much bloat, you're not executing, it's symptomatic to what you're doing. It's symptomatic to, you could see, like, hey, you're going to have to jump in and take over certain things, right? Things don't get done, right? You're going to have to work extra, right? Taking you away from your family. And what's the cost there, right? If this continues on over and over and over again, what's the cost there? And what about in your health and fitness, right? If you're not in there, if you're not taking the time, because that's one of the things that in the past is my patterns, man, is when things get kind of tight, or, the road gets rocky, whatever analogy you want to say, is like, I start neglecting my fitness and I put more time into it. And I think, and I haven't experienced that it's been that advantageous and actually really fixed the problem. What about in your spirituality, right? And self-development and the things that are important to you? Are you missing prayers, meditation, and church because you're just too stressed, right? And then ultimately you're not growing your business to the level it's capable of, to the level that you dreamed to building it. So I hope that helps, answer those questions. Like, what are, hit me up. I'd love to hear some comments or anything like that. What's it costing you outside of your business to do this? That, that you don't have this fixed. You have too much bloat in your business. So that's it for now. If you have a team of 3 to 20 people and you're not growing as fast as you want to, or as you have been, right? Because there's a lot of people that aren't growing as fast as they have been, as they want to, but you've grown and you've stopped this trajectory, right? You cannot seem to just get traction within your business. You've hit the ceiling, you've hit the wall, and it's harder to run your business now than it has. Go ahead and go to go.anthonydcampo.com. And that'll take you to a case study that shows you how I do this. I have a system. I have a way of giving you a way that makes your business simple. and effective and operates at a different level than and provides an actual framework and an operating system that's very scalable, right? That can, if you are at $1 million right now, this same system and the same method can scale you to 10 million, 20 million and on up. So I look forward to supporting you, and I'll talk to you soon.
This concludes another episode of the Be Battle Ready podcast, Daily Battle Edition. If you're a business owner with 3 to 20 people and you want to build a battle ready business so that you can go to war in the marketplace and win, head over to battlereadybusiness.com/go to get the conversation started. Other than that, I'll see you next time.